The city lights of Neo-Earth gleamed like a field of stars that had fallen to the ground. Towering skyscrapers reached higher than the clouds, each building connected with transparent skywalks that glowed with soft neon blue. Ships of every shape and size hovered gently above the streets, coming and going like bees in a cosmic hive, among the endless crowd of humans, aliens, and robots. A single figure struggled to carry her heavy bag. Alara paused in the middle of the bustling plaza. Her shoulders ached from days of travel across star systems. She glanced at the arrival terminal behind her, watching ships descend like slow comets. She had been traveling from the mining colonies of Lyrianine, and her body begged for rest. All she wanted was a place to sleep, a bed. Anything that didn't feel like a bench or a spaceship floor. She reached for her communicator and checked her lodging reservation. The message blinked in red. No rooms available. Try nearby sectors. Her stomach sank. Every hotel in the district was full, likely because of the Interstellar Festival. Tourists and travelers from hundreds of planets had flooded Neo-Earth for the celebrations. Great, she muttered to herself, tugging her bag along the slick plaza tiles. No bed, no shower, no peace. Alara wandered down a narrow street lined with small apartment complexes. The buildings were old by Neo-Earth standards, but the warm light spilling from the windows made them feel inviting. She stopped in front of one, staring at the faded sign. Lumos Apartments, single beds, shared spaces. She hesitated. The door was slightly ajar, and a faint hum of machinery came from inside. With a deep breath, she stepped in. The apartment smelled of faint spices and metal, a combination that was strangely comforting. Inside, the living area was tiny, just enough space for a couch, a small table, and a bed pushed into the corner. And on the bed lay a tall figure, clearly not human, but humanoid in shape. The being had smooth, pale skin that shimmered softly in the dim light. Its eyes were a deep violet, larger than a human's, with slitted pupils. It looked up from a book it was holding and smiled, revealing a row of perfectly even teeth. "Greetings," it said, voice calm and melodic. "You must be the new tenant." Alara froze, surprised. She had expected a grumpy manager, maybe a human concierge, not a friendly alien sitting on the only bed in the apartment. Yes," she said, her voice tired. "I'm Alara. I was hoping for a room, but I see." She trailed off, unsure how to explain herself. The alien stood and bowed slightly. "I am Torian of Zyra, and yes, this is the only bed left, but you are welcome to it if you wish." Alara blinked. She didn't know whether to be amused or cautious. Sharing a bed with an alien was expected. She forced a smile. "Thank you," she said politely, "but I think I'll take the couch." Torian tilted his head, eyes sparkling with curiosity. "The couch?" he asked. "It is less comfortable. Are you sure?" Alara nodded, dropping her bag with a soft thud. "Yes, I don't mind. Really." For a moment, the apartment was quiet except for the low hum of Torian's strange devices. Alara moved toward the couch, sitting down carefully. It was small, just big enough to stretch her legs. As she settled in, Torian returned to the bed, adjusting a glowing pillow. "You humans are interesting," Torian said thoughtfully. "Most of your kind would accept the bed immediately." Alara raised an eyebrow. "I guess I like my space. Plus I can sleep without worrying about, well, anything." She yawned and rubbed her eyes. "Long journey." Torian nodded, stepping closer with a small tray of drinks. The liquid inside shimmered in shifting colors, blue, green, and gold. "Then perhaps this will help," he said, setting it down on the tiny table. "It is safe for humans. I brewed it myself. It aids rest and relaxation." Alara looked at the drink and hesitated, but the exhaustion on her body won over. She picked it up and took a careful sip. The taste was sweet but unfamiliar, like honey mixed with the essence of fresh air. Almost immediately, warmth spread through her chest, and her eyelids felt heavy. "You humans do not know how to pace yourselves," Torian said with a hint of amusement. "Your kind travels far, yet expects the body to adapt instantly." Alara laughed softly, leaning back. Yeah, I've been doing this a long time, but some days, even I feel my limits. They shared a quiet moment. Outside, the city roared with life, ships gliding overhead and neon signs flickering in every color imaginable. Inside, the tiny apartment felt like an oasis, a strange pocket of calm amid chaos. Finally, Torian spoke again. Tell me, what brings you to Neo-Earth? Lara hesitated, thinking about how much she should reveal. I explore, she said finally. I travel between planets, document new worlds. It's mostly for knowledge, but also adventure. Torian's eyes lit up. Adventure, that is rare among your kind. Most stay near their home planets. Your courage is notable. Ilara smiled faintly, feeling a small surge of pride. I guess I like seeing things no one else sees. Meeting beings like you, experiencing life fully. Torian nodded slowly. Then perhaps you and I will share knowledge despite the bed situation. Ilara laughed quietly, shaking her head. We'll see. I'm not so sure I want to share the bed, but knowledge, yes, that I'll share. For a moment, the room was quiet again, except for the hum of machinery and the soft flicker of the neon lights outside. Ilara's eyes drooped as the drink continued to work its magic. Torian noticed and offered a blanket, which she accepted gratefully. As she curled on the couch, she felt a strange mix of nervousness and excitement. Sharing a space with an alien was new, yes, but somehow it didn't feel threatening. In fact, it felt promising. You rest now, Torian said softly. Tomorrow, we can talk more. Perhaps I can show you the city. You can show me your human ways. Ilara nodded sleepily, a small smile on her lips. I'd like that, as she drifted off. The hum of the city outside felt distant, replaced by the soft breathing of her neighbor and the gentle glow of his devices. Neo-Earth was vast, full of wonders, dangers, and surprises. And somehow she felt ready to face it all, even if it meant sleeping on the couch. Morning sunlight filtered through the small window of the apartment, bouncing off the smooth surfaces of Torian's gadgets and casting colorful reflections across the room. Ilara stretched on the couch, feeling surprisingly rested despite the long journey. The couch, though less comfortable than a proper bed, had become a strange kind of sanctuary. Torian was already awake, standing near a console in the corner of the room. Tiny lights blinked rhythmically, and the soft hum of the machinery created a steady background tone. His violet eyes turned toward her. Good morning, Ilara, he said. His voice was gentle but precise, carrying the musical quality of his native language. I trust your rest was sufficient. Ilara rubbed her eyes and yawned. More than enough. That drink of yours? It worked wonders. She sat up and glanced around the room. What is all this stuff? Torian smiled faintly. These are my devices. They monitor city activity, energy flows, and anomalies. I am a scientist. My work involves understanding systems, human and alien alike. Ilara tilted her head, intrigued. So you study humans? Among other things, Torian said, tapping a panel that caused one of the small machines to float slightly. Humans are adaptable. Observing you is instructive. Lara laughed lightly. I hope I'm not too weird for your research. On the contrary, Torian said. Your species' creativity, resilience, and problem-solving are exceptional. You humans survive, and even thrive. In unexpected situations, Ilara's curiosity grew. Unexpected situations like what? Torian paused, his gaze shifting to the city outside. The city itself is volatile. While it appears stable, subtle disturbances occur. These can be caused by equipment failures, environmental shifts, or deliberate interference. Ilara frowned. Interference. Torian nodded gravely. Yes. Recently, minor fluctuations in the gravity field have been detected. They are small, yet they can escalate. Ilara's heart skipped a beat. Gravity malfunction in a city where skywalks and hovering vehicles are the norm could be dangerous. That sounds serious. It can be, Torian said, which is why I monitor the system constantly. Before Ilara could ask more, the apartment trembled. A low vibration ran through the walls, followed by a metallic groan from the building structure. Both froze, listening. "Not yet," Torian said calmly. But soon, the tremor intensified, knocking a few items off the shelves. Ilara jumped up, heart racing. "What's happening?" "Gravity flux," Torian replied. "Something is interfering with the field in the lower sectors. We must move quickly." Lara felt a surge of adrenaline. All the fatigue from her journey vanished. "What can I do?" she asked. Torian looked at her, his expression calculating. "You can adapt. Humans are quick to adjust. That may be our advantage." They stepped out into the apartment hallway. Outside, the building swayed slightly, and the city lights flickered. Ships hovered erratically above the streets, adjusting to the fluctuating gravity. Panic had not yet set in, but people on the streets were beginning to notice the tremors. Torian moved toward a small console mounted on the wall. "We must reach the central control hub. It is located beneath the city plaza. From there, we can stabilize the field." Ilara nodded, following him. "Lead the way." The journey through the building was tense. The walls shivered with each tremor, and the floor beneath them vibrated. Torian used a floating device to stabilize the hallway lights. "Guiding their path, you humans rely on instincts," Torian observed as they ran. "It is fascinating. You adjust to danger almost immediately." Ilara chuckled breathlessly. "Instincts, training, and a bit of stubbornness." They reached the stairwell, which led to a network of maintenance tunnels below the plaza. The stairwell shook violently as they descended, and Ilara held the railing tightly. At one point she stumbled, but Torian's extended arm steadied her. "Thank you," catching her breath. "Humans are capable," Torian replied simply, "yet cooperation enhances capability." The tunnels were dark and narrow, but Torian's devices lit the path with soft green glows. Along the walls, pipes and cables hummed with energy. Ilara noticed signs in multiple languages, some human, some alien, that warned about maintenance hazards. Suddenly, the floor vibrated violently. A loud crack echoed through the tunnel, and a pipe burst, spraying a fine mist. Ilara dodged instinctively, her heart pounding. "This is getting worse," she muttered. Torian nodded, moving forward with purpose. "The interference is deliberate. Someone is tampering with the gravity control mechanisms." Ilara frowned. "Tampering? Who would? And why?" "That is unknown," Torian admitted. "But the consequences are potentially catastrophic. If the field collapses, entire districts could experience free-fall conditions." Lyra's eyes widened. "Free-fall? People could die." Torian's gaze was steady. "Yes, that is why we must act swiftly." They reached the first control point, a chamber filled with consoles, glowing panels, and holographic displays. Torian quickly assessed the system, touching screens that reacted to his gestures. Lines of data scrolled rapidly. "The signal source is here," Torian said, pointing to a small interface. "Someone is overriding the automated stabilization protocols." Ilara leaned closer, trying to understand. "Can you stop it?" "I can, but I require assistance," Torian admitted. "The manual override needs human intuition. You may notice details I overlook." Ilara hesitated for a moment. Then her curiosity and courage won over. "Okay, tell me what to do." For the next several minutes they worked side by side. Torian instructed her to monitor certain indicators, press sequences on consoles, and adjust calibration settings. Ilara followed instructions precisely, her hands moving quickly. At one point, a surge of energy caused the lights to flicker and the floor to shiver. Ilara instinctively braced herself, catching a falling tool. "Got it," she exclaimed. Torian observed silently, clearly impressed. "You humans are precise under pressure. Most species would falter." Together they stabilized the first sector. The tremors lessened, and the city lights outside regained their steady glow. Ships above adjusted to the corrected gravity, easing smoothly once again. Ilara wiped sweat from her brow, breathing heavily. That was intense. Torian nodded, but his expression remained focused. "One sector is stable. yet the signal continues elsewhere. We must track the source. They moved deeper into the tunnels, following data streams and energy readings. Along the way, Ilara observed strange alien devices embedded in the walls, tools she had never seen.
Humming softly with energy.
Torian explained their functions briefly. Energy relays, field stabilizers, and communication nodes. You humans learn quickly, Torian noted, as she adjusted one of the devices to reroute the energy. Ilara grinned. I have to. Otherwise, I'd be, well, floating in space. Small laugh escaped Torian, though his tone remained calm. Indeed. Humor is useful. It lightens tension and strengthens cooperation. By late morning, they reached the final control chamber. It was larger, circular, and filled with holographic projections of the city. The gravity field appeared as a network of glowing lines. Some flickering red to indicate instability there, Torian said, pointing to a red flashing node. This is the source. It is heavily encrypted and alien in origin. Ilara studied it. Alien, you mean? Someone from another planet? Yes, Torian confirmed. They seek to disrupt Neo-Earth systems. The motives are unclear. But the damage is significant. Claire's mind raced. How do we stop it? Torian glanced at her, expression serious. With ingenuity, courage, and cooperation, your human creativity may solve what my science alone cannot. Ilara swallowed hard, but she felt a thrill of excitement. This was why she traveled. Adventure, danger, and the chance to make a difference. Then let's do it, she said, determination in her voice. Show me what to do. Torian's violet eyes sparkled. Follow my lead. And trust your instincts. As they prepared to confront the hidden threat, the hum of the machinery filled the chamber. Outside, Neo-Earth thrived, unaware of the quiet battle taking place beneath its glowing streets. Ilara felt a surge of pride and responsibility. Humans were small in the cosmic scale, yet they could make a difference. Even here among advanced alien technology, and with her courage and quick thinking, she was ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. The red device pulsed brighter beneath the massive engine, casting a sinister glow across the walls of the Sector 5 chamber. Sparks from the disrupted circuits fell in tiny showers, and the hum of the gravity engine grew louder, almost like a heartbeat. Ilara gripped the edge of the upper control panel, her knuckles white while Torian worked below, his hands moving in precise motions to bypass the energy locks. Almost there, Torian said, his voice calm but urgent. You must be ready to act the moment the barriers drop. Ilara's heart pounded in her chest. Sweat trickled down her forehead, but she forced herself to focus. Ready? She said firmly. I won't mess this up. Torian's violet eyes met hers briefly. There was trust there, a silent agreement that they had to rely on each other. Despite the danger, the connection was reassuring. Humans and Xyrans rarely worked together in such close proximity, yet they had no choice. A sudden tremor shook the chamber, causing loose cables to sway dangerously. Ilara ducked, narrowly avoiding a sparking wire. The system is fighting back, she shouted. Yes, Torian replied. The saboteur anticipated interference. They installed fail-safes. But we are faster. Humans adapt quickly, Ilara. That is your strength. Ilara swallowed hard, drawing in a shaky breath. Then let's show them. Disabling the device, Torian's fingers moved over the energy locks like a musician playing a complex instrument. Each press and motion caused the glowing symbols to shift, creating patterns of light that reflected across the chamber walls. Sparks flew occasionally, but he didn't flinch. Barriers are weakening, Torian said. 3 more sequences and the locks will open. Ilara's fingers hovered over the manual controls. The panel was unfamiliar, full of alien symbols and buttons, yet she felt an instinctive connection to it. Years of exploring strange planets had taught her how to quickly adapt. She had learned to observe, experiment, and act. Now, it was time to use all of that knowledge. Sequence 1 complete, Torian said. Now, you must enter the override code. Ilara's eyes scanned the symbols. Her intuition told her which buttons to press, which switches to toggle. She followed her gut, pressing each control deliberately. A low hum indicated progress. Sequence 2. Done, Torian reported. Final one, careful. Alara took a deep breath. She pressed the last combination. The red device flickered, pulsed violently, then went dark. The energy locks lifted, leaving the main relay fully accessible. They both exhaled, relief washing over them. Torian's shoulders relaxed slightly. Well done, Alara. You acted swiftly and precisely. Without your input, the device would still be active. Alara smiled faintly, feeling pride, despite the adrenaline still coursing through her veins. We make a good team, she said. Yes, Torian agreed, his lips curving into a small smile. Unexpected, yet effective. Saboteur appears before they could celebrate. A faint sound echoed from a side passage. Soft, deliberate click. Alara turned toward it, sensing danger immediately. Someone's here, she whispered. Torian's eyes narrowed. The saboteur. They are close. Likely monitoring the device remotely, but they may intervene physically now that we have disabled it. Alara's heart raced. What do we do? Torian tapped his belt, and a soft blue light expanded around them, forming a protective field. We must proceed carefully. Humans rely on intuition. I rely on calculation. Together. We can face them. A figure emerged from the shadows. It was humanoid, but clad in dark, sleek armor that shimmered faintly under the chamber lights. A helmet hid their face, and a weapon glinted in one hand. The saboteur's presence was commanding, radiating confidence and danger. Who are you? Torian asked calmly, his hand still on the control panel. The figure laughed softly. You humans and Zyrans think you can stop me? The city's chaos is inevitable. You are too late. Alara stepped forward. We're never too late, and we're not alone. The saboteur raised a brow at her boldness. Impressive courage, but foolish. Torian glanced at her, then back at the intruder. We must contain them and finish the deactivation before they interfere again. A dangerous partnership, the saboteur lunged toward the control panel. Alara instinctively jumped to the side, grabbing a floating cable and swinging it toward the intruder. The cable wrapped around the saboteur's wrist, slowing them down. Nice. Torian shouted. Keep them occupied. Alara darted across the room, using the environment to her advantage. She knocked over small machinery, creating obstacles. Sparks flew, and the saboteur stumbled slightly. Torian focused on stabilizing the engine. His precision and calm allowed him to bypass the remaining interference in record time. We're almost done, he shouted. Alara nodded, her heart pounding. She realized something important. Working together meant more than just following instructions. She had to anticipate, improvise, and support Torian. And he had to trust her instincts as much as she trusted his expertise. The saboteur recovered and charged again. This time, Alara threw a small crate in their path, causing them to skid. Not today. She yelled. Torian finally finished the override on the control panel. The red device sparked violently, then exploded in a controlled burst of harmless energy. The engine stabilized immediately. The hum of the gravity system returned to normal, and the red warning symbols vanished from Torian's projection. The saboteur froze, their plan failing. They looked around in disbelief. Impossible. They shouted. Alara stepped forward, hands on her hips. Not impossible. Just teamwork. Torian joined her, calm and steady. The city will remain safe thanks to cooperation between species and courage under pressure. The saboteur hesitated, then retreated quickly, disappearing into the shadows. Alara watched them go, relief washing over her. Do you think they'll come back? Torian shook his head slowly. Perhaps. But they will think twice now. Humans and Zyrans together are formidable. Alara smiled, feeling proud not just of herself but of the partnership they had formed. Guess we make a good team, yes, Torian said. A surprisingly effective one. After math and reflection, the chamber was quiet now, filled only with the gentle hum of the engine. Alara sat on the edge of the platform, catching her breath. Torian stood nearby, adjusting the projection displays. You acted well under pressure, he said. Your quick thinking prevented serious damage. Humans often underestimate their own abilities. Alara looked at him, smiling. I guess I never thought I'd be disabling alien sabotage devices and fending off armed intruders. But it feels good to make a difference. Torian nodded. It is in your nature to adapt and survive. That is why humans thrive, even among the stars. Courage, ingenuity, and empathy are your strengths. Alara's heart swelled. Thanks for trusting me. I wasn't sure if I'd do it right. You did more than right, Torian said. You excelled. For a moment, they stood together in silence, watching the gravity engine spin steadily, knowing they had saved countless lives. Despite their differences, their skills complemented each other perfectly. Alara realized something important. Humans weren't the strongest, fastest, or most technologically advanced species in the galaxy. But they were adaptable, creative, and brave. And when combined with others like Torian, they could face even the most dangerous challenges. Torian broke the silence. Shall we return to your couch? He asked with a faint smile. Alara laughed softly. Yeah, I think I deserve it after today. Together, they left the chamber, descending the tunnels and returning to the apartment above. The city outside was calm again, unaware of how close it had come to chaos. Ships glided smoothly. Pedestrians walked without worry. The plaza's neon lights twinkled in the afternoon sun. As they entered the apartment, Alara glanced at the couch. It suddenly seemed even more welcoming. Torian gestured toward the bed, a familiar offer on his lips. Alara shook her head with a grin. Couch it is. It's got character. Torian smiled faintly, adjusting his robe. Very well. Couch it shall be. Alara sank onto the couch, feeling the exhaustion of the day weigh heavily on her. You know, she said, I think this might be the start of something interesting. Torian's eyes twinkled. Perhaps. Humans and Zyrans. Working together. It may become legendary. Lara chuckled softly, closing her eyes. Despite the danger, the adrenaline, and the unexpected challenges, she felt a sense of peace. She had survived. She had contributed, and she had forged a bond that could last across worlds. The city hummed softly outside, alive with possibility, and Alara knew that tomorrow, new adventures would await, because in a universe full of danger and wonder, humans, small, clever, brave humans, were always ready to rise. The city of Neo-Earth stretched beneath the late afternoon sun, gleaming like a jewel against the darkening sky. Above, hovercraft glided smoothly, unaffected by the chaos that had threatened them just hours earlier. Inside the small apartment, Alara sat on the couch, rubbing her tired eyes, while Torian adjusted the final settings on his monitors. The hum of his devices was calm and steady now, comforting contrast to the frantic energy from the tunnels below. Alara yawned and stretched. I still can't believe we did it, she said. The city. It's safe. Torian nodded, his violet eyes thoughtful. Yes, the main relay is stable. The saboteurs' devices are disabled. Gravity systems are functioning normally. Alara leaned back, closing her eyes. And the saboteur. They have retreated, Torian replied. Their plan failed. They will reconsider before attempting another attack. The city is too resilient for careless interference. Alara smiled faintly. And humans are too stubborn. Torian's lips curved in a small smile. Indeed, that was most evident today. The recognition news of the gravity stabilization began to spread throughout the city. Messages flickered across monitors, public displays, and communication channels. Gravity systems restored. Neo-Earth safe. Unidentified team credited with swift response. Alara glanced at the reports, feeling a sense of quiet pride. Humans rarely receive such acknowledgement in a city filled with advanced alien technology and interstellar visitors. Yet today, her actions had mattered. Torian approached, holding a small device that projected a glowing hologram. This is for you, he said. A record of your actions, verified by the city council and the monitoring authorities. Your contribution will be noted across Neo-Earth. Alara reached out, touching the holographic image. Wow, that's really something? Thank you. You earned it, Torian replied simply. Without your quick thinking, the main device would still be active. The city might have suffered significant damage. Ilara shook her head with a smile. I just did what I had to do. You guided me, and we worked together. That's the real reason it worked, yes, Torian said. A lesson in collaboration. Humans and Zyrans. Together, we complement each other's abilities. Ilara laughed softly. Guess that makes us a pretty good team. Torian's eyes twinkled faintly. Yes, unexpected. Yet effective. A walk through the city later, after checking that the gravity systems remained stable, Torian offered to show Ilara the city from a vantage point few humans had seen. Together, they walked along a skywalk high above the bustling streets, the city lights reflecting on the glass beneath their feet. Ilara marveled at the view. Ships hovered silently, their paths precise, carrying citizens and travelers to and fro. Neon signs flickered in alien symbols and human letters, advertising everything from floating gardens to energy drinks. The air buzzed with life. You humans are remarkable, Torian said. Even under stress, you maintain composure and creativity. Many species would falter in similar situations. Lara shook her head with a smile. I guess that's why humans survive everywhere. We adapt. We improvise. We don't give up easily. Torian studied her thoughtfully. Your kind has courage beyond measure. Not reckless, but determined. That is rare among intelligent species. Ilara laughed softly. Well, you should see us when we don't have alien tech to guide us. We get pretty creative then, too. Torian tilted his head. I can imagine, and that. Creativity can be dangerous in a positive way. It changes outcomes. Saves lives. Ilara felt a warm sense of pride. Today, that had been exactly what she had done. Together, she and Torian had prevented disaster. And she had learned something else too. Courage could be found not just in individuals, but in cooperation across species and worlds. The reward returning to the apartment, Ilara sank onto the couch once more. The soft cushions felt like a reward after hours of danger and action. Torian sat nearby, reading a small tablet. You know, Ilara said, I didn't expect my first day here to turn into, well, saving the city. Torian's eyes glimmered faintly. Expect the unexpected. That is the nature of Neo-Earth. And perhaps the nature of humans, Ilara smiled. I guess that's true. And I couldn't have done it without you. You also could not have done it without yourself, Torian said. Human intuition. Quick thinking. Courage. You acted decisively. That is why the saboteur failed. Ilara leaned back and closed her eyes. The exhaustion she had felt earlier in the week now settled fully. But this time, it was not heavy with frustration. It was heavy with satisfaction. She had faced danger, worked with someone different from herself, and emerged victorious. I think, she said quietly, this might be the start of a good partnership. Torian's smile deepened. Perhaps. Humans and Zyrans. Sharing knowledge, experience, and courage. It could be. Remarkable. Ilara opened her eyes. I like remarkable. Reflection as night fell over Neo-Earth. The city lights shimmered like countless stars. Ilara sat by the window, gazing at the sky, feeling a mixture of awe and calm. The hum of hovercraft and distant chatter of citizens was a reminder that life went on. And it went on safely, thanks to their efforts. Torian joined her, standing quietly at the window. You humans often underestimate yourselves, he said. But today, you were extraordinary, Lara smiled softly. Maybe we underestimate ourselves because we don't always see the full picture. But when it matters, we find a way.
Hot.
Indeed. That is why your species thrives. Adaptability, creativity, courage, empathy, all of these qualities combined make humans formidable, even among advanced civilizations. Ilara looked at him, grateful. And you trusted me, guided me, and worked with me. I think that's what made all the difference. Torian's eyes softened. Trust is essential. Without it, cooperation fails. Together, we achieved what neither of us could do alone. Alara leaned back on the couch, finally relaxing completely. You know, I think I'll sleep well tonight. On the couch, of course. Torian chuckled faintly. Very well. The couch it shall be. Alara closed her eyes, feeling the warmth of accomplishment and the calm after a storm. The city was safe. The saboteur was defeated. And she had discovered the power of teamwork beyond worlds. Looking forward, the days following the incident brought recognition and new opportunities. The city council officially acknowledged Alara and Torian's actions, and reports praised the cooperation between species. Alara found herself invited to participate in exploration missions, city projects, and advisory groups' experiences. That would have been impossible without her bravery and quick thinking. But beyond recognition, she treasured the bond she had formed with Torian. Humans and Xyrans were not natural partners. But the day's events had proven that collaboration could overcome even the most dangerous threats. Alara often found herself smiling at the memory of the simple choice she had made on her first night. It had seemed small at the time, but now it represented comfort, reflection. In the beginning of an unlikely but extraordinary friendship, Neo-Earth was a city of light, life, and endless opportunity. And Alara, a small but brave human, had proven that even in a vast galaxy filled with aliens, advanced technology, and unknown threats, courage, creativity, and heart could shine brighter than any star, because humans adaptable. Clever and bold were always ready to rise, and together, humans and Xyrans could face whatever the universe had in store. The control chamber beneath the city plaza glowed with shifting lines of blue and green light. Alara stood beside Torian, staring at the cluster of red symbols flashing on the central projection. Those red nodes represented danger-active interference points that were still destabilizing the gravity field of Neo-Earth. Torian ran his hand across a floating screen. His fingers left a faint trail of white light in the air. The saboteur did not just hack one sector, he said calmly. They placed multiple disruption nodes across the city. The one we fixed earlier was only the beginning. Lara crossed her arms, feeling a mix of curiosity and worry. So someone's trying to take down the whole city? Not take down, Torian said. Destabilize. Enough to cause panic. Enough to create chaos, Lara frowned. Why would someone want to do that? Torian didn't answer. His violet eyes stayed fixed on the projection. There are many motives. Power, distrust, fear, or simply to test the city's weaknesses. Lara watched him closely. His expression, usually calm and unreadable, now held a subtle weight. Torian, do you think this is someone from your planet? He paused for a moment before answering. The technology used does not match the methods of my people. It is more primitive in some ways but dangerous in others. Lara nodded slowly. So we're dealing with someone who knows the city and knows how to cause trouble. Exactly, Torian said. He adjusted another control, and a new map appeared, one showing energy patterns across the tunnels. To stop them, we must reach the main relay engine beneath Sector 5. It controls the central gravity modulation. If the saboteur installed their main device there, the damage could spread citywide. Alara stared at the map. Sector 5 was far from their current location. They would have to travel through multiple tunnel zones, some old, some unused, some unstable. How much time do we have? Torian looked at her. Less than 2 hours. Alara inhaled sharply. Then let's get moving. Through the tunnels beneath Sector 2 were lined with thick bundles of cables, pipes, and metal panels. Glowing lights flickered like nervous fireflies. Torian moved with purpose, using a handheld scanner that projected a narrow beam of light. Alara followed right behind him, ducking under dangling wires and stepping around small maintenance bots that scurried along the floor. Does the city know something is wrong? She asked. Some sectors are noticing minor instability, Torian replied without looking back. But the full threat is hidden. The saboteur masked their activities well, Lara sighed. Does Neo-Earth have any kind of security team? Someone who can help us. Yes, Torian said, but they are slow to act. They require evidence before interfering with sensitive infrastructure. If we wait for them, the gravity system may collapse, Great Alara said. So the two of us have to save the city. Torian gave a small smile. Humans enjoy adventure. I assumed you would approve. Ilara rolled her eyes, but she smiled too. I like adventure, not disasters. The tunnel shook suddenly, and dust fell from the ceiling. Ilara grabbed the wall for balance. Is that the gravity field again? Yes, Torian said, checking his scanner. Sector 4 just experienced a sudden dip. The saboteur is increasing their interference. Ilara tightened her grip on her bag. Then we need to go faster. Signs of sabotage. They reached a chamber filled with pipes, glowing cables, and large circular machines that hummed constantly. Torian stopped beside a cracked panel, his eyes narrowing. Look here, he said. Ilara leaned closer. The control panel had been opened recently. Tiny wires were cut and replaced. A small device, smooth, metallic, and unfamiliar, was attached to the inside of the system. What is that? Ilara whispered. A disruption amplifier, Torian said. Someone installed this to weaken the safety protocols. It is crude, but effective. Lara stared at the device. Can you disable it? Yes, Torian said. But touching it triggers an alert. The saboteur will know we found it. Lara looked around nervously. Do we have a choice? Torian shook his head. No, we must disable it. Even one of these devices can cause major instability. Ilara took a deep breath. Do it. I'll watch our surroundings. Torian carefully reached into the panel. He pressed 2 points together, causing a soft spark. The device flickered, then powered down. The red warning symbols on the projection updated one less disruption point, but the moment Torian shut it off, the tunnel lights flickered violently. Ilara looked up. What was that? Torian straightened. An alert. The saboteur knows we disabled one node. They will accelerate their plan. The chase begins just as Torian finished speaking. A loud metallic crash echoed from the tunnel behind them. Ilara spun around. A maintenance drone, large and spider-like, crawled into view. Its lights glowed bright red instead of normal blue. The drone's metal legs clicked sharply against the ground as it scanned the area. That thing doesn't look friendly, Ilara whispered. It has been reprogrammed, Torian said, backing away slowly. It will attack anyone who interferes with the sabotage. Ilara's heart pounded. We need to hide. But the drone spotted them and emitted a high-pitched alarm. It charged forward. Torian grabbed Ilara's arm. Move. They ran down the tunnel, dodging pipes and cables. The drone clattered after them with surprising speed. Ilara glanced over her shoulder, seeing sparks fly from its legs as it sliced through debris with built-in tools. Torian, she yelled. It's gaining. Torian tapped a small device on his belt. A circular shield of blue light appeared behind them, briefly slowing the drone. But the shield flickered after a few seconds. It won't hold long, Torian warned. Ilara spotted a narrow side passage. This way? They darted into the passage, squeezing through the tight space. The drone tried to enter but got stuck for a moment, scraping its metal frame against the walls. Sparks showered the tunnel. That won't stop it, Torian said. We must keep moving. It continued deeper into the maze of tunnels. The sound of grinding metal behind them told them the drone had broken free. Ilar's breath came fast. Whoever is behind this, they're serious. They want to stop anyone from fixing the gravity system, as Torian said. This is no simple act of sabotage. This is coordinated. Discovery in Sector 5. After several minutes, they reached a large circular chamber. The air was warm, and the ground vibrated softly. Torian scanned the room with his device. This is it, he said. Sector 5 Relay Center. The main system is below us. Ilara walked to the edge of the platform and looked down. A massive gravity engine spun slowly, glowing with shifting light. But attached to its side was something out of place, an odd metallic structure pulsing with red energy. Torian, she whispered. Look, that device. It's not part of the engine. Torian stepped closer, eyes wide. No, it is not. This is the main disruption module. The core of the sabotage. Lara felt her stomach tighten. If that thing activates fully, The city may lose gravity entirely in several districts, Torian said. People could float uncontrollably. Buildings could destabilize. Transport ships could crash. Lara felt the weight of the situation settle on her shoulders. We have to disable it, as Torian said, but it will not be easy. The device is protected by energy locks, and the saboteur may be nearby. Lara looked around the chamber. Do you think they're watching us? Torian nodded slowly. Most likely. The thought sent a chill down Alara's spine. She stood beside Torian, facing the massive engine below. The strange device pulsed faster, as if sensing their presence. Alara swallowed hard. Tell me what to do. Torian turned to her, his voice steady and calm. I will handle the locks. You must access the manual controls on the upper panel. When I disable the energy barriers, you must deactivate the device quickly. Lara nodded. I can do that. Torian gave a small smile. I know. As he moved toward the lower platform, Alara climbed the narrow ladder to the upper control panel. Her hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the pressure of the moment. The drone's metallic screech echoed distantly through the tunnels. Alara tightened her jaw. Torian, she called. We need to hurry. Below, Torian placed his hands on the energy locks. Symbols glowed beneath his fingers. The locks are complex, he said, but I will break through. Lara positioned herself at the panel, ready. A deep rumble shook the chamber. The red device pulsed harder. The saboteur was trying to activate it remotely. Torian, she shouted. The device is charging. I know, he said. Hold your position. Lara took a deep breath. The city above depended on them. They could not fail.